So locking in kind of signature picks almost of WE 2023.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get more signature than an 18th game played for Cube, right? So I wonder if the reason why they dropped the Xayah priority for now, like on the first three, or the first two rather, is just because EDG have the Sejuani and like FoFo could land on something like really exotic, like a Yone, or of course the Jace also still technically has like a positive enough matchup into it, right? But I wonder if they're kind of considering that.
I'm going to have to derail your train of thought for a second, Jabana, because Fiora has just been locked in the top side. Cube, yes, he's got his comfort, but he's up against Allah's Fiora with a Sejuani on his team as well. That is a terrifying top lane. And not to mention, LeBlanc made it through the bans. How the hell LeBlanc is third pick on the blue side? I don't know, but here we go. I mean, what a draft so far from EDG. And there we go, Tristana to answer that LeBlanc from Shanks.
EDG kind of have Thanos draft, don't they? They've got Fiora on the side lane who's going to outscale Cube eventually on this Fiora. They've got LeBlanc as well, so they've got like arguably two of the strongest side lane picks right now in the entire game. They've got the Tristana in the mid lane, hopefully to answer it out, but W, I feel like it's going to be a much different game, and considering how willing EDG were to like make those map plays with the teleports towards the end of game one to actually close out, right? We know that EDG strengths lie in the sort of post 20-minute world, which is where side laners tend to thrive the most. So I'm looking forward to this. Now it's about how they really look to close out this draft, EDG, and how W can look to recover, because they don't have the greatest engage, and if you can't answer in the side lanes, then the one thing you want to be able to do is punish that three, right? Punish the core, which is holding whichever side isn't being pushed in. And right now they don't really have the picks for that specifically, right? They need, you know, a Nautilus, they need a Leon or something like that, which can really just have agency and make a fight start instantly.
I'm curious what happens with Xayah Rakan this time, whether WE are willing to just give that over in the way that they did in the first draft. Xayah's not really been a pick that Hope's been happy on. He's played it 4 times, his split 0% win rate for Hope and Lwandy on the Xayah Rakan. But the Rakan at least. I mean, you could pick Rakan with a different AD carry. That could be an option. Yeah,
I suppose you can. My big concern is though, if you give Uzi the Xayah, then this is exactly what you want in a like defensive 3, right? You'll have a tank from Jiejie if he's not shadowing one of the side laners, and then you'll have Uzi with the Featherstorm, which is just a layer of protection, right? And again, if you want to engage on that core 3, if you can't match the side lanes and you need to make a play happen, then that is my big worry. I mean, sure, you have the Rakan, so there's the setup, right? And there is that engage now that can be supplemented by things like the Poppy and the Ksante. But if Uzi just goes, hey, you know, I'm going to take Xayah, and then Meiko goes, I'm going to take Nautilus, or I'm going to take something super defensive like a Roll or whatever, then they're just super happy about this draft. And all of a sudden, they've got side laners and they've got defensive tools in that mid lane.
It's dawned on me, it's going to be Ziggs, isn't it? This is a Ziggs angle. You've got AD mid, you've got AD top.
Yeah, okay.
Deny the potential push coming on through, have the wave clear. You've also got Yordle Demolition Squad with the Tristana.
That's a great call.
That could be the angle. It does mean that you're very vulnerable to things like that Nautilus, like the Sejuani. But no, Aphelios, despite the nerfs, is going to come through for Hope.
No. Your Ziggs call was so right, though. I feel like this is definitely the Ziggs angle that you need. It actually also kind of answers, like, if you want to shut down side laners, the way that you can do that is just end the laning phase super early. Take all of the structures off the map. But yeah, I guess, you know, Aphelios is just what Hope wants this game, I suppose. He's barely played it as well this split. He's only had 3 games, so very surprised that W have gone this angle. And if I recall correctly, wasn't Hope one of the few Ziggs players on JDG last year? Like, throughout the entirety of summer, there was, like, Jackie Love, Hong Feng, and I think Hope was in that list.
He was definitely the only Ziggs player on JDG later on, but it ain't this early on in the tournament. This is a gauntlet. This is the first step on a very long road for whichever team can win, but for the losing team, they're gone.
Fans know it as well, giving their biggest support that they can.
Yeah, they're out in force. Strong Gyos here in the WE arena. Emotes coming out on either side as Lwandy did sneak into that brush just to see if any cheese was happening. Drops the Warden. He'll be okay on this one. So, standard level 1. Let's talk junglers for the early game, because we do have a Poppy in the game. And if there's one thing that Poppy does, I mean, I'm going to steal this from Nymera. You hit level 3 on Poppy, you are full build. You are at late game Poppy mode. You can just charge into lanes and destroy people. So, What are we anticipating? You said you want early aggression from WE. How does Heng make that happen?
So it seems like it could be in the fashion. Be a late invade, all right. I was just wondering, you know, they're all stacking up, you know, like they're about to breach a door. But bot side dive, right? And I think these early, like, sort of level 1, level 2 from Hope and Lwandy and Meiko and Uzi is going to be critical. We're going to have to see who can kind of jostle wave priority off of one another. Lwandy and Hope, I wonder if they're like, what are they considering? Level 1, just a little bit of poke, maybe just a little bit of poke. Because they need to have a wave stacked if they want that dive to work, or it has to be like basically slow pushed into them. So they have to basically make the conscious choice to give up lane priority so that Heng can come down here super early on and the gank ankle is very viable, or it has to be a stacked wave so they can outright dive. No cleanse on Uzi means that if he does get hit up by that wallbang, he is going to be stuck there and he is likely going to die in the duration of the CC.
See if that's going to happen. One thing I will say, Aphelios got pretty heavily nerfed. I'm looking towards Hope in this game to see how things change, because the sustain on Severum massively got nerfed. The slow duration on Gravitum got reduced, and then Crescendum, the attack speed got taken down a little bit. That said, Infernum remains untouched. Calibrum remains untouched. And ultimately, you can still imagine late game strength from the Aphelios. It's just the sustain, I think, is the biggest nerf to the champion. So this one for me, this is not just a game between EDG and WE. This is also like, okay, 13-13 Aphelios. How does it look?
True. I mean, admittedly, I will say a lot of the, you know, big Aphelios moments where you've got Twitch chat just like spamming Riot or whatever emote it is in the month, those are still going to be there. I feel like the only big nerf that really mattered the most to me is that Sentry Turret one. I think the fact that you're not stacking up the chakrams so quickly with those Sentry Turrets is probably the biggest nerf out of maybe all of them. Graviton one, pretty hefty as well. We'll see how Hope makes it work though. Like you say, much weaker champion overall. Should still be operated the same as Arla is already underneath this tower. And he's going to just slowly whittle away because at the end of the day, Cube just does not have the damage or the output really to match what Fiora can put down. Until level 6, there's a brief window where Cube can kind of take over.
Oh my days, this... Okay, no, he's just going to go for a ward and then a reset. I thought things were getting real dicey for Cube already.
Flash over the wall. Flash over the wall.
It's Heng.
Okay. He was pathing like he wanted to do it, but it's just mirrored wards. Okay.
Yeah, it's exact matching between the jungle, but Heng cancels his recall, is going to go up towards his Raptors instead. Massive CS lead, already built for Allah, and look at this wave. It's pushing towards him as well. Things are going to go from bad to worse for Cube in the top side if Allah keeps managing the wave in the way he is.
Yeah, exactly. Allah just doing a really good job, taking control of the first couple of waves, slow stack, crash the wave with the cannon plus the wave after, and now that slow bounce back out. Going to be really nasty for Cube, and he's got a couple of biscuits, so he's got a little bit of sustain left, but Fiora has a pot and passive, so it's not like Harla's going to be short on healing. But you can see and just tell by the way that Cube is trading, like he really wants to try and keep this wave as big as he can, so he can, when he trades with Arla, it sends a lot of damage back his way. This ward spots out Heng, so, you know, going to have a pretty solid idea that, hey, you know, Poppy's on this side of the map, I'm not even going to look to take super aggressive trades, and Cube will just miss out on small bits and pieces of CS, and Allah will continue to grow out this lead.
Certainly will. Nice there from Lwandy as well to hold the wave on the bottom side as Heng has snuck in. This is the way to change the matchup a little bit. Hovering for the top side. Drake spawning onto the map, and Heng does not want to actually be spotted. He's hovering in case the all-in comes through, but he's making sure that Cube can crash this wave.
I am so surprised. I know obviously Allah has flash, but I'm so surprised that he just didn't come out the bush, clear the wave, and just threaten the dive, right? No riposte, lengthy cooldown at level 1. Only one skill point in it. Look to force the issue, but EDG could force an issue onto Shanks here.
Shanks in trouble. The jump needs to be used. The stun available though from Jiejie. They don't follow it up as Heng moves into the play as well, and Lwandy's here. Flash for flash. Junglers, immediate reactions there from Jiejie. Drake is up onto the map here, and it feels like EDG trying to make things happen.
EDG definitely are. You worry if that stun did connect from Heng onto Jiejie, even though he is a Sejuani, like, what's the burst damage look like from Shanks, even without the explosive charge? And things like the bust shot already there, level 6 was hit, so turnaround could have been nasty, but it doesn't come to fruition for now, and just flash for flash.
And a much more tentative early game here than what we saw in game number 1. dead even on the gold right here. X-Flash into the pit. There is a ward there that will be cleared by Heng, but you can see Jiejie on the top side of the map. This is going to be WE taking Drake #1 of the game. An earlier Drake than what we saw in game #1 as well. In game 1, we saw it traded for the Herald, whereas WE doing it early enough where they'll still be able to contest that Herald as well.
Yeah, exactly right. I think the fact that it was EDG in control of a lot of the map last game, but they had the Ivern, and it just kind of delayed that that Dragon takedown. This time around, WE with control about the Poppy. And you get those dragons down super quick. Makes it an easy task, but...
Grand challenge out as Jiejie knocks him back, keeps him at range. The stun available here. Ultimate not actually there as well either. He's level 5 for the time being. So Cube, good job to use the ult, use the flash, gets himself out to safety. Blast that summoner down, and no TP for him either.
That was well played from both sides, actually. I'm not sure if you caught it, but Jiejie actually took a small back step to avoid being all-outed underneath the tower as well, and it keeps Cube in place for Arla to just keep on wailing him and stack up the permafrost as well. Ultimate gets riposted by Arla, and then Cube even uses the W just to stop himself from being stunned, so mechanically well played on both ends, but Cube still losing out right. That wave state didn't look too great when we was looking up there, and Arla will continue to grow out the CS lead again in a matchup where he's just going to outscale, right? By the end of the day, as soon as he hits like 2 items, Cube realistically shouldn't be able to answer even in the all-out. Will likely lose out, unfortunately, in that 1v1.
Yeah.
And it's still an advantage to EDG.
I feel like, you know, we talked about the stakes for EDG, the fact that they brought Uzi back in, the fact that you got FoFo and Ala players that have had incredibly high highs alongside world champions. I feel like everyone around the world knows the EDG story. This is a team that gets a lot of attention. But on the side of WE, it's not dissimilar in that you've got this kind of ragtag group of players that each of them have had decent splits. Each of them have had tenure on different teams that have looked good. As sparring in the mid lane here, just the sender ball packing. But like Hope over from JEDG, Lwandy over from LNG, Heng on his first split, but Cube from RA as well. These players... Oh, hang on. Yeah, no. He's going to be okay. Looking to make a new home for themselves. I don't get to talk about the story I want to talk about. His Hope is now going to all-in Uzi at the bottom side. Featherstorm to answer it. And wow. 80 carries going at it.
Yeah. Hope. Very happy to just charge in at Uzi with the gun selection he had. Couldn't blow a heal out of Uzi, but getting Featherstorm for Moonlight Vigil, you feel like it's probably a worthwhile investment. If it can be punished, we'll see whether or not it is. EDG on the top side of the map right now, though, looking away from the bottom lane. With this Herald, I mean, again, you know, if the plan is to get Ala ahead, WE are reading into it, and Heng is here to prevent, at the very least, maybe a dive, but this Herald is probably gonna... Okay, they're not gonna drop it. I was wondering if they'll still drop it just for the gold. Seems like Jiejie and Ala will just call the play off with Heng hanging around. They don't really want to, you know, maybe have the Herald burst down, smite away, anything like that.
Oh, what a hook from Meiko! That was clean as hell! And Uzi will grab himself first blood. The EDG bottom lane in trouble. He's 1 HP, and he actually walks out of it. Hope is going to be gutted on that one.
You've got to be kidding. 13, 14 HP available now. Because the bottom side play, halfway did Jiejie stepped away, now he's back. Can they dive Cube? They're looking for it.
Demolish available as the Grand Challenge is there. The stun in place as well. The healing is Jiejie. He's tanked the tower too long. He goes down in trade for Cube, but honestly, I think Ala's okay with that.
Yeah, they're not too fast. I mean, Ala's still going to get a solo play. Waves will be missed here by Cube. There's no teleport available, so it's a 1-for-1. Ala still pulls further and further ahead, right? Look at the CS difference. It's gonna grow out to very close to 40 CS. Down here though, dredge line from Meiko.
What a hook.
Yeah, I'm not sure how intentional it was because they kind of both hit their buttons at the same time, but at the end of the day, Lwandy is the one that gets his CC interrupted. Uzi walks away on 14 HP. And up here on the top side, again, another dive. W starts up the tanking from Jiejie, chucks out the ult to add a little bit of damage in, but that Pathmaker, I think, kind of used on that bit of CC means that he is able to continue to maneuver Cube, and Jiejie just takes too many tower shots.
Yeah, Jiejie goes down, so at least Cube gets something, but look at the score difference in the top side. He's 35 CS down and 2 plates versus Ala, who's already got Divide Sunderer. That lane ain't getting any easier for Cube, and now It's actually going to be flanked by Allah. Has to dip underneath the tower and flash. It's instantly followed by Allah. There's no way out of this, surely, for Cube. Even if he gets over the wall, where can he go? That's going to be another kill for Allah. It's gone from bad to worse up top.
Munch, I think the side lane's Jova. I'm not sure if Cube can stand up in the 1v1 anymore. The Vine Sunder are already there. Mythic, it doesn't look like it's even going to be available from Cube, who will likely have to teleport if he wants to catch the wave. Maybe he just yields it entirely. I mean, it's too much gold to give it to Fiora. It's just so rough, no matter how you slice it. WWE might be able to answer with a dragon on the bottom side. That'll be their second of the game, but look what EDG are doing right now. They're putting this Herald down. They're going to get 2 plates, no, just shy. Maybe a swing, but Shanks will stop that animation from coming out. And the dragon hasn't even actually been slid up until just now from WE. So EDG can respond. They can fight. Even if they don't get the dragon, they'll probably pick up more kills.
Okay,
well,
they can't respond. See you later, Jiejie. So Drake taken by WE. At least they,
good job.
They do get that.
WE.
Yeah, I mean, just put him away. Why not? Why not? But you're absolutely right. Look, the biggest thing that has been criticized. Oh, hang on. Meiko just gets to walk this one in. Okay, he's not going to start the fight. He's just going to Riptide and deny the recalls on this one. Maybe random hook in the... No, okay. No, just going to push the wave. But yeah, the early game has been the biggest point of criticism for EDG across the course of the split. If they can have early games like this where Allah is set up massively in the top side, and then they're winning 2v2 in the bottom side, they're winning in terms of Herald plays, like, this is perfect scenario. This is the EDG that was heralded.
You're not true. They did have Herald, so you're not far off, Joe. Hey. We're at that point in the cast already. But like, yeah, and you know what? For me, I'm just really happy to see. Oh boy. Well, I'm happy to see this.
he's been baited a little bit there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Leave the control wards.
You know, I was about to speak positively about Allah, and then he gets caught out. It's not even. It's like cast. What do you call a cast a curse when you don't even get to cast like curse the player? What?
I think that's called watching League of Legends. I don't know if this one's about you, to be honest, Jamada. This one's more about Allah. He's going to go down. I mean, like, nice play not to hit the ward so that he then feels confident to walk up, tries to take the control ward, take him down. And then a plate for Hope as well. Something positive for W. And I want to go back to what we were talking about before, Jamada. When we came out of the draft, you said, look, they've got this Poppy. They need a lead early. Well, WE finally finding somewhere where they can have some kind of advantage with Hope getting that kill.
Exactly. It still feels nice. Right, and there was a shutdown too, right? So that kill, I think it was a 200 gold shutdown on Allah. It's almost worth 2 kills, effectively. So whatever lead that Uzi did have has been closed up and even likely opened up in favor of Hope. As the red buff transfer goes a little bit right there on the side of our screens. But it's both teams right now with their bottom laners on the top side of the map. Both want this Herald. They don't necessarily want to give it up. And I feel like for EDG, they're probably going to be able to uptrade no matter how this ends up playing out. Because they've got teleport on Allah with no teleport on Cube. So they can have numbers advantage if they want. But even if they don't force numbers advantage, Allah's just probably winning on the side lane very slowly and very silently, right? So WE are still the ones with their hands tied behind their back.
Definitely slowly. I don't know about silently. A very vocal player that's very willing to sling out some words in interviews, to say the very least. But you're absolutely right. He's dominating in the side lane. 40 CS lead, 2 kills. He's already got a Tiamat on top of the Sunderer as well. Like, the thing is, like, you said it in the draft, Jamada. Like, it's not even like this matchup gets good for Ksante. Fiora outscales as well. Like, I'm really struggling to see how WE find a win in the side lanes. I feel like we need to see them do something magical. Maybe the Dragons. Maybe that's their way into the game.
It could be. I mean, you know, my big thing is that we speak about WE having Heng and Shanks as kind of like these facilitator players, right? These are the guys that really make things happen. But Poppy is probably going to be mildly difficult to navigate in a game like this, right? And you've got Lwandy to kind of back you up in maybe if you're looking for dives, etc. But I feel like the way that some of these teamfights are going to play out, he's going to be more looking defensively as opposed to actually setting up plays, right? He's looking more for kind of turnarounds. And Shanks is on a true just straight up dash dealer, right? Inside of this Tristana. So just looking and waiting for items. So he's not going to have agency for a little while in terms of making plays happen in his own right. So for now, I feel like EDG, with the lead that they have, should be able to slowly take control of this bottom side of the map. Again, though, right now it's WEs and they're looking for a pick onto Meiko.
Okay, these are the plays we're looking for. Another kill for WE. Heng grabs the credit for that one, but pick onto Meiko. 50 seconds before Drake comes up. Meiko will very much be back in the play by the time the Drake is there, but at least some deep vision bought for WE.
Yeah, deep vision. It's about whether or not EDG are actually capable of sweeping this out as they start to re-enter the bottom side of the map. I'm kind of curious about how they're going to look to approach it, because right now W had to take resets, right? Item completions coming through, things like that. So they likely yielded this bottom side, but I think that vision was set up relatively recently, so it seems like it will probably remain there for now. But EDG have control of the side of the map regardless of the vision. Arla's going to try and let this kind of minion die, but I think it's going to take the wave regardless.
Yeah, good effort from Arla to try and deny even more from Cube, who he's straight up not having a good time, dog. This matchup is just not fun. He just has to try and soak it up. Luckily for him, he's on Ksante, so like at the end of the day, when it comes to the fights, he's still going to exist, even if he's massively down in CS. It's less about whether or not he exists, it's more about how much Arla exists, and especially when Jiejie is going to move over and slam a Herald. Arla definitely exists. I think that's a fair statement.
I think it's actually more about whether or not these side lane towers are going to stay up and exist for much longer, right? This Herald is even going to charge into the base by the looks of it. Cube's not going to be able to get behind.
Oh, Cube's buying time. Oh. There's the charge. Eye is available, and it's denied. Okay. Lwandy moves over to save the play. Drake started off here by EDG, and that is crucial, because that would have been the third for WE if they could contest it.
Yeah, they can contest it. Well, it seems like the answer is no, because they're just cross-mapping out. They want this tier 2 up here. They lost the tier 2 on the bottom side. They're going to lose the dragon, but they've got no wave. FoFo doing a great job and gets the buster shot out of Shanks. So Ocean Dragon secured, and that stops Soul Point from going over to WE. And now the next, 4 or 5 minutes of this game can be spent, again, just pressuring the side lanes from EDG.
Much more confident game number 2 from EDG as well. I feel like they've come into this one, like, game number 1 brought out the Ivan, and it felt like Heng kind of had the run of the early game. Considering Heng is the one on Poppy, you would have expected a little bit more control in this early game from WE. But I feel like this Fiora has completely warped everything. It's completely changed the way that the early game could go. So that Heng, like, if he wants Cube to survive this game, he has to play towards that lane. We have seen him make a couple of plays elsewhere as Meiko has found another pick in the jungle here. Lwandy in trouble, but Heng's there to save the day. Lwandy gets on out of there.
I don't know if Heng needed to flash Keeper's verdict, but I respect his willingness to keep Lwandy alive, and to be fair, it does just that. I don't think he'll be punished, but I mean, with all the commitment from the bottom side, again, we're just seeing towers go down super early, and this is not really a good thing for the...
Hang on, just hope that Jiejie is literally behind him here. This is not the fight that you wanted to start, my friend. Hope is going to go down. Uzi takes himself a free kill there in the meantime. FoFo forced a flash, but he's fine.
He got the tier 2 as well on the top side, so he's not really fussed at all in the slightest.
This is brutal, Shabbat. This is absolutely so brutal. Like, and how the hell do we have such a close game 1 and then EDG just destroying WE here?
And again, the worst part is about how these compositions interact with one another, right? For EDG, side laning is king, and there is not going to be a realistic answer for a while for WE, and it's only really Shanks that can, at best, answer. And I think that's only maybe kind of into Arla, right? And then you still got to deal with FoFo. So yeah, I'm concerned for WE. I'm not sure if there's really much a way in. I feel like if EDG just keep on playing the map as they are, then this game ends in maybe about 10 minutes or so. WE need to really find something to break up just the tempo of play. And yeah, it just seems like there was no information on the side of Hope to just know that Jiejie was standing behind him. So it's a bit unlucky, but look where his teammates are on the map right now. He is kind of just in no man's land to begin with, so just gets caught slipping.
I feel like it was... it's Jiejie Bay. Caught him slipping. Nice play from Jiejie as well to play around that vision pocket. Goes in through the mid lane. Like, Hope obviously not expecting that. Feeling like his team had control of the bottom side of the map. And, well, he was wrong, to be brutally honest. 6,000 gold lead for EDG. And look at that bounty for FoFo. with no kill participation whatsoever, just chilling in those side lanes. Both tier 2s taken in the side lanes. WE only have a single tier 2 remaining at the 21-minute mark. As EDG continue to put their best foot forward. And honestly, this game, it feels like both feet are their best foot.
The ambidextrous. Oh, I can't say that word, but you know, the one where you can
ambidextrous.
use both.
Yes, that's not to do with feet, is it?
And that's hands. It's hands, I know, but I don't know what it is for legs or feet. As
yeah, I don't know. As neither does Hope. Hope doesn't know anything in this one, but Uzi jumped on it in the feathers, sets up for Allah to sweep on up. It looked good for WE for a split second there, but even without an AD carry, EDG will melt this Baron.
Yes, they will. They'll happily go over towards it, and FoFo can just play bodyguard for anyone else who can maybe look to disrupt it, but it doesn't seem like Shanks or Cube are willing to give over their life in kind, and EDG will secure this Baron. There's a teleport coming in. I don't know, like, turn can happen.
Yeah, Shanks is looking for FoFo here, gets the bomb and gets the kill. Okay, opportunity for WE. Shanks charges forward. The franchise player has to make miracles happen. Cube low in the pit, and the hook onto Shanks is huge. He's trying to kite, jumps over the wall. EDG back onto the Baron though, and they maintain control.
It was close to a flip, very close, but EDG are able to shut down Cube and shut down Shanks. Stop him from going a little bit too crazy as this fight kicks off. Just over vision, right? WE don't really have much information at all about what's going on. The immediate turnaround onto Hope is great, but then Uzi gets kind of one-shot here by Shanks. A lot of damage immediately coming out, but at the end of the day, the fact that the feather pullback sets up for Arla to just clean house makes that one-sided affair, which now EDG can return to the map with this advantage. Items and all. Secure this dragon very quickly. It's not going to eat into that too much of their Baron time. And then just go and siege again, right? Set up for a 1-3-1, set up for a 1-4, whatever it is. Let Arla, let FoFo really dominate their individual lanes and just put pressure on WE potentially from all three lanes, which is a bit of a rarity when it comes to Barons, but they're that far ahead in map state that they might be able to just achieve that.
I will say, take a look at Shanks' CS. The man is on a mission this game. More than 10 CS per minute. He's been carrying the fights, trying to just, 2v4 the Baron there. And he was fantastic on the Azir in the first game as well. Shanks is desperate to keep his team in playoffs. Ala, the target of a potential pick here. The sweeper does find them as Heng tries to move in. Flash for the knockback, but it's answered by Ala. And that's 3 men committed to the top side. And EDG, they've got not only a Baron to work with, but they've also got FoFo pushing in the bottom side, setting up for the rest of the team to finish off this tower. Diving for Hope. Meiko slightly wide on that hook, but it doesn't matter. Inhib tower taken in the bottom lane. It's WE now trying to collapse. Shanks and Cube moving in. But I think EDG should be able to just disengage this one, wander away, and be happy with a free trade. Because guess what? Ala's back up in the top side pushing.
Exactly, right? So they have to... This is the problem. As WE, it's so frustrating to watch from their perspective because they just don't have solid enough engage. They can't break this, very easy to disengage core that EDG are running on the other side of the map. Arla is taking that inhibitor tower and he can start to pressure the inhib. Meanwhile, now EDG can look to retake some of that territory. They can't step too far forward, but Hope loses a lot of HP. Is this the angle now?
Heng denied his engage, though. Beautiful stuff from Jiejie. Lwandy with a quickness, but they're 10,000 gold down. What can they do? Big damage on FoFo, but Hope can't quite finish the job there. And Ala, in the meantime, has taken an inhib. EDG can keep this siege going all day long. Still 15 seconds on the Baron, but Uzi don't need it anymore. He's onto the inhib. That's 2 taken. Mid lane, the only lane remaining, as Ala will TP to that wave, as does FoFo as well. EDG not stopping anytime soon here as they charge towards the mid lane inhib as well. Lwandy and Heng here to try and defend. Shanks has been the hero for WE, but can he do it with a 10k gold deficit?
Rookie with the world on his back for Shanks. All right, now, I don't know if he really has the strength to do it just because EDG are so far ahead. They'll stave off this siege for now, but EDG still have full control of the map. Both objectives spawning in 2 minutes time, so we could just see a brief moment of reprieve for WE. But as soon as the Baron is up, as soon as the Dragon is up, the pressure is going to be right back on.
Certainly will be. EDG decide to go for that reset. Kind of surprising, honestly, that they committed the TPs if they weren't fully committed to that, you know, siege in the mid lane. But deciding it's time to go spend gold. And I think that's the right decision, right? They had so much gold to work with in their inventories. Wanted to go get items. You can see 3 items now for Uzi, 3 items for FoFo. Same for Allah as well, in fact. All 3 carries pretty much a full item ahead of their counterparts. Well, not a full item, but at least a completed item. And this feels tough, the WE. And this is one of those ones where not only is it a bit of a head-scratcher in terms of the actual gameplay, but the momentum, the morale in Team WE has got to be low. After having such a huge lead in game number 1, and game number 2 is this one-sided. That's got to feel rough.
Has to. And right now, the pressure continues to mount. EDG are not really giving them the space at all, but Allah maybe is overstepped. Certainly
they find a pick. Allah's down. It's traded from mid inhib tower as FoFo tries to get damage onto the inhibitor itself. Dashing forwards once again. Damage out with the static shiv. Cube looks for an engage here. Super's pushing in the bottom lane and top lane, but the bottom lane minions are a long way away from WE's base. Baron on the map in a minute. Drake 40 seconds. It doesn't feel like we really have anything to take off the back of this pick. It's a bit of a heartbreak for them.
Yeah, they have to go back to defend, right? There's the wave that's already in the base. There's bot wave stacking up on the bottom side. Oh, and this one ward could be giving EDG so much, right? The fact that they see Cube hovering here, they kind of have an idea that the rest of W are probably all hit. Lwandy's been caught out now. Uzi can't really put in the damage though, Joe, but his teleport.
This is a 2v4 at the minute as Hope is going to find himself his second kill of the game. As Aphelios getting back into things. Surely, Jamada, we don't see 2 teams throw a 2-inhib lead in a row in a series. That would be too much.
That would be too much. They can't start up the Baron. It's not spawned up. The Dragons there and available as well on the map. I imagine that Uzi's probably just going to go back alongside the rest of EDG. Just look to pick that one up. WE, I don't think there's any way they can contest it because they've still got a clear wave. So that's what's going to end up happening. There's pings on towards the Baron from EDG because they think, I believe, that they know that this is potentially going on. Pretty sure Hope, if Hope's got Calibrum afterwards as well, they can actually silently burn this. So
yeah, they can shred this. EDG are going to come over. They know that it's happening. Can they do it fast enough is the question. 6k on the Baron is WE. They should be able to finish this one off. The smite will be there. Can they get away with the play is the question. Hope trying to recall at the back bit. No, immediately flashes. Blast comes to safety. Shanks is there to get the Baron. It's a heist from WE.
Oh my god. It's payday or what from WE. Taking that Baron off them is going to buy them so much time as well because now it's just EDG that don't have the Baron, right? Buffing up the supers, getting the inhibitor becomes such an easier job with it. Now it's a chore, right? All of the extra Baroned up minions on the side of WE. It's just all about the extra time that can be bought, the gold as well. This is a big, big moment for WE to stall this game out and get themselves back at item parity, right? You look across the board now. The gold lead closed not too long ago. 3 items in both the carry slots of EDG and W, right? Mid and AD both sat at even items. It's more about the top jungle now, which hasn't really had, you know, crazy skirmish impact just yet. WE are kind of sat in a position where they can try to answer out if they can find a front to back or anything along those lines into EDG.
We were 10,000 gold up for EDG not that long ago. That's been cut down to 5. 3 Ocean Drakes in a row though, so EDG will have a soul to look at, 3.5 minutes. WA finding themselves a way back into this game. Like you say, 3 items on board as Shanks, 3.5. Getting close to that 4-item mark. On a Tristana, he is going to be scary. Level 17 as well. So draw the bead. He's going to have very, very long range. Allah, his target for now, forced out in the side lane. And I feel like the Tristana scaling is something we've not really talked about that much in these compositions, but Shanks really will be a terror in these fights.
Yeah, he will. Seen so many times where Tristana just starts to gain so much of that extra range at the very back end of the passive that she becomes very, very oppressive to deal with. And the fact that EDG have, you know, kind of been slowed down, right, and that can be, I suppose, and it's a very, you know, cherry-picked problem when it comes to these side lane compositions. Eventually, you just run out of structures, right? Like, you can't really, you know, like, it can eventually become an issue where if you don't make use of that inhibitor time, then that side laning kind of, you know, it falls flat on its face eventually. Yeah. So right now for WE, reclaiming all this territory is great, and there's a lot of standing gold in these towers too.
There's a ton to be taken here, and it's difficult to just win an outright fight for EDG outside of just the gold difference for them. The composition certainly favors a 5v5 in the way of WE, as that's 2 towers taken in the mid lane. The gold gap reduced now to 4,000, even lower, but denying the reset. Shanks the target. They won't be able to stop him for now. Cube tries to move up to deny FoFo this inhib and will be able to push him off. Ala resets as well on the bottom side of the map. And EDG, they lose 2 towers off of this Baron. It's a 2,500 gold swing on the Baron. That's pretty good for WE.
Yeah, not bad. Extra 1,000 gold on top of the Baron. Again, it's just about getting those small increments back, right? Ensuring that you're no longer trailing a full item into EDG. The crucial thing is Shanks as well. He's been sat on that last Whisper component for a while, so I have to imagine he's very, very close to that Lord Doms. And that's going to help him. You know, it's going to help him cut through Jiejie, cut through Meiko. Those are members that he's realistically going to be hitting a lot of the time. And we've seen what kind of damage he can put out onto Uzi, so we know he is spiked and ready. Just about being able to flex his muscles in those moments. And this extra tower is probably going to get him across that finish line of that Lord Doms that we were just talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about standing gold. Shanks just picks that one up for free. Okay, EDG, right. Let's get both of the solo laners, and instead of solo laners, we'll make them duo laners. Send both of them to the top side, but WE are here to defend. Managed to keep that inhibitor alive for now. Hope has to move to the mid lane with Shanks to clear these minions. Holding on for now, 50 seconds until Drake comes up onto the map. Jamada, I feel like this is where EDG can finish things out if they can get Soul.
This game is gonna... This next fight at that dragon is probably gonna make or break the game. I feel like if EDG gets Soul, that should just about be critical mass, but if WE can deny it, I think it kind of enables them to take control of the top side of the map, right? That's the big problem then for EDG. If members like Lwandy are still alive to put down the vision. But right now, EDG, I like this creativity. Keeping both these solo laners on the same side of the map. They both got teleport, right? And what you're trying to basically enable is pressure on the top side so that people have to answer out. The thing is, W are just going to do the exact same thing. They're going to match Shanks up here, and actually now Ala's in trouble.
Ala's the target here. FoFo dips back out of the play into the GA already. FoFo doesn't do any damage as Ala might just go down here. The bomb onto his head. Riposte comes out, but it's not going to be enough, and Shanks has so much damage to burn through the health bars. In the meantime, WE trying to contest for the Drake. It's 3v3 here. Both AD carries in a strong spot as the quickness comes on out, but Lwandy doesn't have the health bar. Shanks on the flank.
They got Uzi.
Uzi that's been found. 2 games in a row. It's a 2 inhib advantage. And 2 games in a row, we have a comeback. But can WE actually finish this off? FoFo split pushing on the top side as Cube moves up to defend the inhib. The rest of WE have to try and end.
Cube has to stop the base. He can't let FoFo get back. They've got a wave. WE can turn this one around. The teleport's coming out. Can Cube get there in time? I think he's too far away. FoFo will be able to defend, but is it enough? It's a 3 versus 2 in the base, and the teleport's coming back now.
2 AD carries. There's 2 AD carries. They shred the towers in seconds. WE have actually given EDG a taste of their own medicine. The comebacks are real today. 2 inhib comebacks, 2 games in a row, and we have a series on our hands.
WE slip and haymaker EDG in what a game